Vice President Kamala Harris does an interview with Charlamagne Tha God. It kind of gets off tracks. Here it is.
President of this country, is it Joe Manchin or Joe Biden, Madam Vice President?
Come on, Charlamagne. Come on. It's Joe Biden.
I can't tell sometimes.
No. It's Joe Biden. It's Joe Biden. And don't start talking like a Republican about asking whether or not he's president. It's Joe Biden.
Do you think Joe Manchin is a problem?
It's Joe Biden. And I'm vice president, and my name is Kamala Harris. And the reality is, because we are in office, we do the things like the child tax credit, which is going to reduce Black child poverty by 50%, on track to do that. We do things that are about saying that our Department of Justice is going to do these investigations and require that we end chokeholds and have body cameras. It is the work of saying we're going to get lead out of pipes and paint because our babies are suffering because of that. It is the work of saying people who ride public transit deserve the same kind of dignity that anybody else does. So let's improve that system.
Madam Vice President, legitimate question. Why don't you have that energy for Joe Manchin? I understand where Charlamagne is coming from. I do not agree with Charlamagne Tha God on everything, but I understand the sentiment of that question because Republicans are not asking that question because Manchin is on their side. Only Democrats are asking that question: is Manchin president or is Joe Biden president? Very legitimate question, especially when you look at the details. You see very clearly there's this defense as soon as Charlamagne posed the question. But the reality is Joe Manchin and other conservative Democrats, or Democrats in name only, whatever you want to call them, they have been holding up progress for people all over this country, in particular, Black and brown communities in the United States of America. And I'm going to break that down for you in real time. Vice President Kamala Harris got into a testy exchange with media host Charlamagne Tha God, this happened Friday, defending President Joe Biden from questions over roadblocks to passage of his social spending package. And we're gonna get into what eventually happened. Obviously, this was a taped interview. Joe Manchin opposes the Build Back Better plan, not the only opposition he has launched successfully against the administration. Manchin, he said, this is what Charlamagne Tha God said, is hurting Black people in particular. I agree with Charlamagne. By holding up progress on key parts of the president's agenda, yes. And he warned that Black voter turnout could decline if the roadblocks continue. That's correct. I've said that since day one. If Democrats do not deliver the progressive agenda they campaigned on, there will be a natural voter suppression angle connected to their lack of delivery. That's a fact. Do I want to see it happen? Of course not. But if you don't deliver on what you promised, there will be an organic connection to that. We are still in a cause and effect relationship between politics and people. You campaign on certain items, you have to deliver them or show that you're willing to make every move available to you to try. There's still moves on the table President Joe Biden has not been willing to make. I will explain some of those in a moment. Now, after Charlamagne posed that question to the vice president, and he got the energy from the VP back at him. What happened? What happened on Fox News? Joe Manchin did exactly what Charlamagne said he has been doing, which is really having too much damn power. Here it is.
I've always said this, Brett. If I can't go home and explain it to the people of West Virginia, I can't vote for it. And I cannot vote to continue with this piece of legislation. I just can't. I've tried everything humanly possible. I can't get there.
You're done. This is a no.
This is a no on this legislation. I have tried everything I know to do. And the president has worked diligently. He's been wonderful to work with. He knows I've had concerns and the problems I've had. And
yeah. Build Back Better Act. Joe Manchin is holding up the progress of millions and millions of Americans. He's the guy. The White House, they thought they had it. So let me read to you a direct statement from the White House. The White House said, and I quote, Senator Manchin's comments this morning on Fox are at odds with his discussions this week with the president, with White House staff, and with his own public utterances. Weeks ago, Senator Manchin committed to the president at his home in Wilmington to support the Build Back Better framework that the president then announced. Senator Manchin pledged repeatedly to negotiate on finalizing that framework in good faith. Whoa. You all had a lot of confidence in Manchin. It's amazing that myself nor my colleagues at Indisputable, we never had that much confidence in Manchin. I cannot believe that we are able to read Manchin better than the freaking president of the United States of America or the whole damn White House corps, the White House staff. Oh, we're shocked. We're just really, I mean, this is unbelievable. He told us he was going to help us here. What? Manchin has been playing this same dog and pony show with you all since day one. Get your heads out your ass. This cat is playing you. And he's winning. He's winning. That's why Charlamagne posed the question. Because Manchin is winning, which means we're losing. We did not vote you in office to get along with other politicians or to look out for other politicians. We voted you in office to look out for us. Camille Bussett says, senior fellow and director of the Race, Prosperity, and Inclusion Initiative, the Biden administration's Build Back Better framework tackles poverty, inequities in healthcare access, makes some of the most important investments in affordable housing, childcare, pre-K, climate change, and environmental justice that could change the economic mobility picture for millions of low-income families and families of color. These investments and support center on dignifying and creating cumulative paths of opportunity for the tens of millions of Americans who have consistently been left behind over the past 7 decades of American domestic policy. My dear sister Camille left out one thing: historic investments into HBCUs, historically black colleges and universities, and minority serving institutions. That's what's on the table. That's what Joe Manchin blocked. What moves are left for Joe Biden? A few things. Ignore the Senate parliamentarian. Engage your vice president as president of the Senate in order to overturn the rules of the parliamentarian. Number 2, make the West Wing of the White House the state of Joe Manchin. Guarantee Joe Manchin will not win another Democratic primary in his life unless he gets with the program. And make a case directly to his voters of how he is adversely impacting them. Raise money, run commercials, put out tweets, do what you have to do to make your case directly to those he depends on for his political survival. Take him off of committees, Joe Biden. Order Schumer to take him off of committees, dries up his ability to influence. You got moves on the table, Mr. President, use them. David, thoughts?
Well, Joe Manchin is killing not just this particular legislation, he is killing the planet, because there's also climate change stuff that is in Build Back Better that we have to have. Now, I would suggest that this is not only a backstabbing move by Joe Manchin against Joe Biden, I would say it's one of the worst backstabbing maneuvers against any administration we have seen in 40 years. Think about it. He apparently turned down a call from the White House just before going on Fox News. He goes on Fox News to make this announcement. He doesn't go in front of any other Democrats. He doesn't go in front of the White House. He doesn't go in front of the Democratic caucuses. He doesn't go in front of a journalist who would actually push back and ask him, why are you doing this? And list all the things that are in this legislation that he's voting against. So this is a betrayal of epic proportions. And we have said from the beginning, Joe Biden's problem with Joe Manchin and Kyrsten Sinema, and you get this, it goes all the way back to the $15 an hour minimum wage debate 7 months ago. There has been a policy of carrots, but no sticks. There has never been any threat of punishment for senators that cross Joe Biden. As a result, Sinema, Manchin, and I think some other senators, they do not respect the Biden White House. And that's what comes through, therefore, when there's Kamala Harris having to try to spin and try to take this question from Charlamagne. I was struck there by how Kamala Harris, she didn't want to address the substance of the question. She hemmed and hawed, she kept saying no. The substance of the question is, how are you dealing with Joe Manchin? And the fact of the matter is, the Biden White House has no idea. And that is embarrassing, and it is humiliating to all Democrats.
And that's why Charlamagne posed the question in the format he did.